This is National Native News. I'm Antonia Gonzalez. The Rosebud Sioux Tribe and the Fort Belknap Indian community filed a lawsuit Monday against the federal government, claiming the Keystone XL Pipeline's permitting process violates law. Native groups are concerned it would impact sacred sites and threaten water. Supporters of the pipeline, which would carry oil from Canada to the U.S., point to jobs and energy security. The Arizona Supreme Court recently heard oral arguments in a case brought by the Hopi Tribe against an Arizona ski resort. KNAU's Ryan Heinches reports.
The San Francisco Peaks are considered sacred to 13 southwestern tribes. Many of them have sued the Arizona Snow Bowl to prevent the resort from using reclaimed water to make snow, but snowmaking began in 2013, and the Hopis say it impairs their abilities to conduct religious ceremonies because contaminants in the wastewater taint the area. The tribe's lawsuit is the only challenge still active. In the recent hearing before the Arizona Supreme Court, lawyers on both sides argued what qualifies as a so-called special injury. Snow Bowl's lawyers argued the tribe's claim essentially would allow anyone to allege special harm on public lands. The resort also said its activities haven't denied access to any sacred areas. The Arizona Supreme Court justices will deliberate and eventually issue a decision. For National Native News, I'm Ryan Heinches in Flagstaff.
It's the end of an era on the Warm Springs Reservation in Oregon as the tribally owned resort shuts down. Tribal leaders say it was losing money. Emily Curitan reports.
The resort's closing weekend was slammed, and for some of the guests, the memories go way back.
37 years, in fact. Our granddaughter, who's now 21, took her first steps here in Canada.
Back when I was 8 years old and just running around, being free.
And camping, and we rode horses. And
the swimming pool, and the teepees, and the fry bread.
The
people of the tribe, they're always very generous people.
One ambassador for the people of Canada is Delson Suppa Sr.
Taich, that's the name of my tribe. Government couldn't say it, they couldn't spell it, so they gave us Warm Springs.
Delson spent most Saturday nights telling legends to visitors. He says working here used to mean wearing moccasins and ribbon shirts and showing off traditional culture.
We need to get back there because that's what the tourists want. They want to see Indians and they want to learn about Indians.
Delson says tribal leadership failed to preserve Canada's identity, like how a casino came and went a few years ago, and before that a golf course was added.
They can call it blame. I don't call it blame, it's fact.
Tribal and hotel officials declined interview requests. 146 people were laid off from the resort. Elise David was one of them.
But, I'm more worried about that coworker, that's in the hospital. The waiter that just lost her job here and is, trying to find other places, or all the housekeepers here that have been working here for so long.
The 18-year-old worked at the front desk, and she compared the resort's issues with identity to her own.
I'm half white and half Native American. So me growing up, I had a really hard time, because I always felt like I wasn't Indian enough for my grandparents or my aunts and uncles, and not being white enough for a lot of people.
Elise says closing Canada opened a rift along generational lines. Older tribal members who didn't want the place to change, and younger people like her who think it has to. One thing is the same. Upriver from the resort, there are natural hot springs many believe have the power to heal, and they're still flowing. For National Native News, I'm Emily Curitan.
And I'm Antonia Gonzalez.
National Native News is produced at the Annenberg National Native Voice Studios by Kiwanis Broadcast Corporation. Funding is by Odawi Law Group, provider of Indian law solutions, and by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, with support from the Public Radio Satellite System.
Support by AARP. AARP creates and connects people to unique tools and programs, helps conserve personal resources, and tackles issues that matter most to individuals, families, and communities. More at aarp.org.
For Native Americans affected by domestic violence, the Strong Hearts Native Helpline offers peer-to-peer support and resources. It's safe, confidential, and toll-free at 844-7-NATIVE. Program support by the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center.
Native Voice One, the Native American Radio Network.